Data centers are a crucial part of the new energy reality. How can they support the flexibility which is needed for the energy transition?
That's a great question. And essentially, the energy transition means that we're losing our system inertia. We're moving away from fossil fuel power plants. We're bringing in more and more renewable energies. That gives us a huge problem because we can't react to changes in demand, both up and down. And so the UPS in a data center can provide the fast frequency response that's needed to replace that inertia. And it's really effective to be able to do that with the UPS. They're already deployed, they're already connected to the grid, and they're ready and able to do that.
Okay, so it's just a matter of, let's say, controlling the dashboard.
Yeah, that's right. So you have a smart interactive grid which can measure very quickly the under or over frequency that's in the grid, and the UPS can be called in to utilize its existing stored energy to provide that reserve back into the grid. So that may mean that we put energy into the grid, or it may mean that we actually reduce our demand on the grid.
Well, data centers can also play a role in energy storage. How?
Okay, so if you look at the classification of a data center, it's got a UPS with a connected battery. That is the energy storage. It's already deployed for a purpose. For FFR response, fast frequency response, we actually don't need a huge proportion of that amount of energy. We're talking very few seconds, but the crucial element is that stored battery energy is able to provide that grid interactive support via the UPS very quickly, but only for a short period of time.
Do you already have experience with this system?
Yeah, we've actually gone a stage further, and if we go back to the timeline for this, we're talking 10 years in development. So first of all, we started looking at, okay, what is the biggest challenge to our grid and where can that come from? And then Eaton decided that actually being able to provide FFR, fast frequency response, was a crucial element, again linked to the inertia losses that we're seeing. And so we did pilot studies. We've then gone on to actually deploy the technology into live active data centers. And the biggest question that we get is, how detrimental is this going to be to my power protection for my critical load, the data center operation? Actually, none at all, because the UPS is now a bi-directional power source, and the primary objective of that UPS is to provide critical power to the load. And we've proven that in both pilots and live active data centers that are out there now in hyperscale applications.
Okay, so what today would be your main question for this, let's say, engaged audience that you confronted?
I think the biggest question is, why don't we utilize the install base that's out there? We've got 25 gigawatts of potential capacity in data centers that can contribute to this grid problem. There's a reluctance to utilize it. There are some challenges around utilizing it, but the biggest thing is we need to take the education out there and say, look, this is the problem, this is a potential solution, and actually it's actively out there. We're doing it. So why don't we just break down the boundaries, bring in new smart regulations, incentivize, educate, and get it going? That would be my message.
Okay. What would be the first action that you would like to be realized on this front?
I think regulation and incentives. A data center operator's got to see some benefit. I think the sustainable benefit is a huge one. We all have carbon zero emission targets. This is a great way of hitting those because, of course, if we're using the UPS in FFR situation, we bring in more renewables, and then the power that we're using in our data centers becomes green power. And hey, what's better than using green power?
Sounds very attractive. Thank you so much.
Thank you.